Michael Reed grew up in a small industrial town where most families worked in the factory that his father once did. His childhood was filled with second-hand clothes, broken bicycles, and nights when his parents argued about unpaid bills. He often studied under a dim streetlight because the electricity at home was cut off. Even then, Michael carried a strange belief. Life won't always be like this. When he went to college on a scholarship, he worked nights at a cafe, cleaning tables, listening to wealthy businessmen talk about investments he barely understood. He wrote down every word, studied them later, and slowly began learning how money really moved in the world. After graduation, he took a job at a small tech company, saving every cent, building small projects on the side. His first startup failed. His second left him in debt. But the third, a simple app that connected local shops to customers, exploded in popularity. Investors lined up, and within a decade, Michael had turned into a billionaire. But with the success came loneliness. His father had passed away before seeing any of it. His mother lived quietly in the same old town, and most of his childhood friends could no longer relate to him. His giant glass mansion overlooked the city, yet he often ate dinner alone. At business parties, people smiled at him for his money, not for who he was, and no matter how many private jets or luxury cars he bought, the emptiness inside only grew heavier. One winter, Michael returned to his hometown for the first time in years. The factory was shut down, the streets were quieter, and the school he once studied in looked even older. When he walked through the gates, children stared in surprise. The billionaire was back where he started. Sitting in the same classroom where his father had once fixed broken chairs, Michael felt something shift. He realized his fortune meant nothing if it didn't circle back to the place that built him. So he made a decision. He poured millions into rebuilding schools, setting up libraries, funding healthcare centers, and creating jobs where the factory once stood. But unlike many billionaires, he didn't just send money. He kept visiting, speaking to students, telling them about his failures, his struggles, and the nights under the streetlight. People began to see him not as a distant figure of wealth, but as one of their own who had returned. For the world, Michael Reed was still a billionaire, but for his hometown, he was something far more important. Proof that even if you rise above the clouds, you can still choose to come back to the ground, where people need you the most. And in those moments, surrounded by children's laughter, in the very streets where he once dreamed, Michael finally felt rich in the truest sense of the word.